Welcome to my daily review. Today is Thursday, February 13th, the day before Valentine's Day, which falls on a Friday this year. So you got to get your significant other, the chocolates, the flowers, the dinner, the champagne. And of course, the retailers always, increase the prices on Valentine's Day. So if you're going out Friday night, make sure you don't leave your credit card at home. All right. Anyway, I like Valentine's Day. As an educator, Valentine's Day was a great day. Kids love Valentine's Day until you got your heart broken, then that kind of sucked. All right. I just want to point out recently, the three moving averages on the Nasdaq were converging as this thing was pinching in here tight. And we've had a lot of negative news, and high inflation data and all that. But the market's kind of shrugged it off. So when the market cannot go down on negative news, it's probably going to go higher. And that's what it did today. It went up 295 points or 1.5%, closed at 19,945 on 9% above, the 50-day average volume. That would be considered like, follow through day or whatever. Higher volume than the prior day, up 1.5%. Breaking out of this little range here. Still has work to do. Like I say, it closed at 19,945. Still's got to get above the 20,118 and the 20,204. But this is a step in the right direction. I thought it was a real positive day today. And these three moving averages that converging on one another is, like I said, it's usually a bullish sign. I don't know if I've ever said that in a video, but the folks at MC Stock Charts, I say it every day. It's like that's usually a bullish sign when you have those three moving averages. Now the 50, it's 1.5 above the 50 and the 21 and 1.2% above the 10. That's still only 0.3% between those three moving averages. So like I say, this is constructive action. This is what I wanted to see. Not not going to say it's going to follow through tomorrow and have a big day, but going forward, it looks pretty good for the next, week and the week after. And we could see this consolidation pattern here in the weekly chart, weekly charts. They kind of, they filter out all the noise. There you can see the higher lows, the lower highs pinching in. And now, I think we're going to pop out of this little consolidation pattern. You can see the Nasdaq's up 422 points this week or 2.16%. So a good week for the Nasdaq. All right, now here's the SPY. I'm just going to go to the SPY today, and this one moved 1%, so not at 1.06%, not quite as much as the NASDAQ, and I'm really hoping the NASDAQ can take leadership once again. But it's 1.8% above its 50 and 1.3% above the 21. So, and 0.9% above the 5. So nearly, what's 0.9% between the moving averages there. So still tight trading. And anyway, I don't trade indexes, I trade stocks. And when you see the NASDAQ and the SPY go up like that, yeah, I know those Magnificent Seven are not going to be left out. They're what's driving the indexes higher. There's Apple. Looks like it's just consolidating within a base between 219 and 260. And then, of course, Tesla had a nice day. It made a low Wednesday, or excuse me, Tuesday, and then had an inside day on Wednesday and followed through today 5% or $19. So maybe the low is in there for Tesla at 325. So it's up 355. So a 30-point move in Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. So good for Tesla and NVDA, of course, one of the big drivers of the AI. This is at an inflection point right here. Is it rallied up to its 50 and closed, just a tick above the 50. So it needs to power through that level and, or that resistance and not get rejected there and knocked back down once again. So anyway, I'll be watching for that from NVIDIA, but I wanted to get to earnings. Earnings season's in full force, and earnings season is really, I'm really impressed with what I'm seeing here. A lot of the 2021 IPO stocks are doing well, and some of the more recent IPOs are getting slapped around, like ALAB and Reddit. Reddit had a good report. It traded down Wednesday after hours after the report to like 175. I'm thinking, man, that's a gift. I thought it was going to pull back to its 50 the way it was trading, which would have been, essentially 180, but it didn't. The low today was only a 195. So it pulled back to its 21, which was 201. So it undercut the 21, rallied back above, closed near the middle of the session, 49% of the daily range. And I think that's a nice bounce off that low there, 195 to close at what, 205 essentially. So the report from Reddit was fine. You could see the accelerating sales growth. And sometimes we nitpick too much at these companies. 54, 68, 71% sales growth, triple digit earnings growth. The CEO was really ebullient on the call. He blamed, a little bit of, I don't know, I shouldn't say blame. He just cited Google. Sometimes, the daily average user data is not always accurate and it fluctuates. That's all. So, don't read too much into that. The daily average users grew 39% for Reddit, which is phenomenal. It's just they were expecting 1.3 million increase, and then they got 1.02. Instead of 1.03, they got 1.0. We're splitting hairs here, but it just, it ran up. So it's kind of buy the rumor, then sell the news type of action. But to me, Reddit looks fine. I would like to see it, at least get support at the 21 and then get through the 200. So the 200 could act as a floor, or that magenta line could act as support. So just got to give it some time. We've seen some wild moves after earnings, and you just, you can't have a knee-jerk reaction in these things. As long as the report's fine, and this report was beyond fine. That was a really strong report from Reddit, and they're growing, and it's going to take time. Like I say, you got to, take a step back, look at the weekly chart. This thing's had a big move, right? Broke out of the base, had a big move, and so it comes back a little bit, down 9% this week. Made that high earlier in the week and then just pulled back. Yeah, 230. That's why making highs into earnings reports sometimes, you get that reaction sometimes. Anyway, that was a negative reaction. I want to go to some of the more positive reactions. One of the ones that Bros, this one, yeah, Bros is phenomenal. They're taking market share from Starbucks. And once again, I said this is a 2021 IPO. So the people who bought this IPO, went right before the bear market when Powell started raising interest rates. It IPO'd when in September, and the bear market started in November. So it made that high at 81.40. And today, these people who had that stock got back to even as it hit 86.42 at the open. But you could see this earnings line just climbing. It's reaching for the sky. And so is the stock. And as long as I think this is more of a longer term theme play where they're just taking market share from Starbucks. And that's kind of, that's not going to change overnight. So anyway, great report from Starbucks. Great response to the report from Starbucks. You can see the 28, 35 accelerating sales growth, 14 and 75% accelerating earnings growth. And it's just, they're going to have 160 new stores this year, and they're building out on the South, the East Coast, and moving their way up north to New York and Philly, I guess. So anyway, great report, great response from um, Dutch Bros up 29%. App 11 was up big time here, up 525. Gave some back. It had closing at 30% of the daily range, but still breakout from a base. Let's take a step back. It's a breakout from a base. You look at the fundamentals and you're looking at accelerating sales, accelerating earnings growth. Fundamentally, this thing's a beast. And technically, breaking out of this base, this is everything you want in a stock, except for a buy point, right? It ripped right through the buy point there, which had been 417.63. So you didn't get a chance to do that because it opened like, $500 and then sold off into the close. I guess I should go to a 5-minute chart. You can see that open there and then just kind of sold off all day long. There's got to be profit taking, right? I mean, come on. If you have that kind of a 30% gain, take some profits. Geez, buy some chocolates or flowers and champagne for Valentine's Day. Anyway, another company that reported, I was a little disappointed with this move, but the problem is here is there's no base, right? It's already extended into the move. It just pulled back to the 10 on Wednesday. It popped, yeah, 14%. We'll take that all day long. Nearly an $8 move, but it closed in the middle of the daily range, 46%. So, it's just extended, and now it's super extended. But great report, fundamentally phenomenal. Technically, just a little extended here. So those three were really cranking. John Deere reported this morning, and They guided lower. The report was fine, I guess, but they guided lower. And so you always got to wonder, are they sandbagging the guide or is there trouble ahead and trouble behind for John Deere? You don't know, but so you take a look and see what the institutions are doing. And they saw this thing at the low and they were buying it, most of the day, right? Pulled back. They just bought it up. Yeah, it sold off into the close and it sold off for the day, 2%, but I'm thinking that maybe institutions are thinking that, that lowered guidance is just sandbag a lowered bar so it's easier for them to hurdle over at the next quarter. We'll see. Or there's something more, sinister ahead in our, global economy. And we don't know that quite yet. But Deere is definitely one in Caterpillar to look for those types of things. All right. CROX reported this morning. CROX now, I got to spend some time on CROX because it's really super cheap. It was below 5 billion, I believe, this morning when it reported. It was down to what, 80 something bucks yesterday. Just ridiculous what they're doing to this thing. Um, it doesn't have much growth, but yeah, it was 88 bucks yesterday, closed today at 110, but it was a 5 billion market cap, right? They're giving you slow growth, 2, 3, 4%. Okay, this is not a growth stock anymore. But they're giving you $13 in earnings. And, they got a PE of 7 here. Just a PE of 10 gives you $130 stock. I think that's fair value for this thing. Once again, it's got a gap here where it, gapped down. I believe it was the last earnings report where the low was a 135. So I don't know, maybe it gets back there. But they announced $1 billion stock buyback program added to the 300,000 they already had in their program. So they have $1.3 billion to buy back shares. Okay. And it's only a 5 billion market cap. So you're looking at 25% or more of their cash is going to be buying back stock. Right now, they only have 56 million shares in the float. So they're going to be buying back shares. That should put a floor on this thing. You can see the cash flow, the return on equity in this thing. It just doesn't have the growth. So it's yeah, it's look at the up down volume, 0.6. It just doesn't have the buyers, the confidence in Wall Street. But all they can do is keep, selling Crocs, which they've been doing. And Hey Dude was a little better, but it's got to be a lot better. So that brand is still lagging. Anyway, Crocs, I think there's got to be a floor there at 100 here. I mean, it's kind of ridiculously cheap. Datadog, no bueno. This one pulled back. Yeah, it was down nearly 10%, closed down 8%. Yeah, it wasn't the report, it was the guidance forward. Like I say, we don't know if these companies are sandbagging guidance or if there's really something ahead that they're seeing that they're, just being conservative with their guidance. I don't know. Time will tell, right? I mean, you can't take CEOs at face value. This is Halmet. Okay. That's about as flat as you can get on an earnings report. All right. So today I was a little worried because of the Datadog report that some of our software names would get hit, the Snowflakes and the CrowdStrikes of the world. But CrowdStrike has got a mind of its own. This thing is just barreling higher, up another 4.4% today, made another new high of 454. This thing is just a beast. It's extended now. If you didn't get it when we had it on the ready list, a lot of you did. A lot of you contact me on Twitter and say, Crowd's doing great. Yeah, new highs every day is great. But Palo Alto reported after hours today, and yeah, I don't know. I don't know what the response is. I'm going to get to that in a minute. But Cyber also reported this morning, and this company gapped higher once again, not from a base, but just bouncing off a moving average. And this one was up 9%, and you could see accelerating sales growth with Cyber, 28, 26, and this time 41. Oh, the earnings was flat. All right. So that's it for the cybersecurity names. Some other names I have on the ready list. I was worried that it was going to get hammered with some of those reports this morning, but Apple Oven carried the day, and thank God Datadog didn't. But this is Shopify breaking out of this space. Now they had an earnings report earlier in the week. Let me see if this is going to get it. Yeah, and it had this, it had the wiggles and the wobbles, right? But you got to let them wiggle and wobble around here after earnings because there's going to be some profit takers, there's going to be some sellers, there's going to be some buyers, and so you just got to let it find its own equilibrium. And I think it has now, and I think it's ready to move higher. It was a great report. Once again, we're looking at strong fundamentals here, 31% sales growth, and it popped out of this base here, that 120 buy. So it's getting a little extended. So I'll have to take it off the list. But some of you got this one too, and they're pretty happy with that move there, 6% today. I just think Shopify, if you look at the week, I think the break out of this base, it runs higher, and now it's breaking out of this base. I think it runs higher. Yeah, 150, 140, 150 after this move. Yeah, wouldn't surprise me. 140, yeah, at the very least. All right. Snowflake, I mentioned that one earlier. I had it on my red list. Definitely worried, after that DataDog report, but it shrugged it off and was up 3% this morning. Had a little tough time getting out of the gate here, but once it got out of the gate, it hit its stride and had a nice day today. So Snowflake, was reporting on the 26th. So looking forward to that report. But yeah, this one looks good as well. Duolingo, another one that's just their software name. Yeah, just blasting higher 8% today. Spotify, these things are extended here. This thing's surfing its 5 EMA. Spotify looks fantastic. Tyler Technologies, computer software name, breaking out of a base here to new highs. Gotta like that. Yeah, it's got good fundamentals. Tyler, I like. I don't know what kind of. Hey, you got the some growth funds in there. A lot of funds, 1,700. Tyler's yeah, got a big um it's a good company, well run, well managed. And then Hubs, another software name here, broke out recently, pulled back to its 10 and made a new high today, then pulled back close 4% of the daily range, which you don't want to see. You want to see a breakout and move higher, especially on a day like today when the Nasdaq was up 1.5%. But another one to watch. SE is another one that I had on my ready list, but it's getting away. It's had a great week. If I go to the weekly, yeah, it's up 8%. So if you bought it at the beginning of the week, you're having a good week with this one. I'm not gonna feature that one on the ready list because it's just too extended right now. CASY, I guess CASY Retail Mini Mart got great hot dogs. Anyway, trying to break out of this base here. Um, Got that blue dot. Did I have it on my ready list? No, but it's got a lot of the characteristics that I like. The ability to move higher. You can see that move, 313 to 400 in a short period of time, 350, to 420, then a pullback to, and then a 439. Then it forms this nice base here and then pulls back right here to a moving average. So it's trading tight within a base, pulls back to moving averages and pops. So Casey. Looks good. I'm not going to go through a bunch of retail names today, I don't think. How about Walmart? I got to go to Walmart. Yeah, it's making a new high every day, so why not? Anyway, I'm going to get out of retail names. CROX was good, but CROX didn't carry, those stocks like ONON. That thing, it's living in a world of hurt below the 50. Anyway, I want to move on because HIMS, what made a big move today, and I guess, that because Robert F. Kennedy, RFK, was confirmed. And I guess that's good news for some and bad news for others. It's going to take me some time to figure that out. But people were citing that, yeah, that's a good move for him. This thing's up to 59 now. This thing's been a monster. Let's take a look at that breakout here 3 weeks ago, and then this week, yeah, nice move of 39%. Thank you very much. Hims and hers, and oh, NUTX is another one. Now, I don't know what happened here. I was out today, but yeah, 15% move, making a new high. That's a very thinly traded name. CORT, this is one that I've featured quite a few times. Had this consolidation, pull back to the moving average, popped, and now today made a new high up 5%. That's Corcept Therapeutics. Gilead reported earlier in the week, had a nice response and Wednesday, and today followed through. That's a nice move for a big 132 billion market cap. Drug stock Jazz. This is an Irish. is an Irish. It's anyway, it's based in Ireland. I don't know if it's an Irish stock, but broke out of a base, followed through today. Yeah, headquartered in Ireland. That doesn't mean anything. You can see the breakout this week though, up yeah, almost 14% this week. So very nice move for Jazz. What else? Oh, it can't all be peaches and cream and roses and champagne. This is West Pharmaceuticals. Now they actually beat, but they guided down, and market didn't like that to the tune of like 38%. That's why I say, the earnings, earnings, yeah, could be great when you're app loving or bros, but if you're West Pharmaceuticals and you're a shareholder, you're crying in your beer now. That really stinks. I feel sorry for the people that have to suffer through that. That's pretty rough. All right, gotta mention. I don't want to, but I have to mention the insurance companies. This is a Root. Once again, a stock that's shown the ability to really move. You can see here, from what $7 to 85. 36 up to 118. Now it's consolidating a base and it's starting to break out of a base up, what, 16% today, 23.5% for the week, and it's just breaking out. So could it make another move like this? Certainly it could. It definitely one to watch. It's it might be a little extended from its base right now, but definitely one to watch. All right. A little calmer trader, a little slower trader is Gallagher, just pushing away from its base. That's another insurance company. And then Palomar, this one breaking out today. Yeah, nice move. 14%. So yeah, the insurance name's back in vogue again. All right, that's it for me. Thank you for watching. I'm trying to keep these videos a little closer, the shorter, I should say. But in honor of the great Steve Jobs, I have to one more thing, and that is tonight's earnings report. I'm going to start with the good and get to the bad here a little bit. Coinbase, they reported. I thought it was good. It was over 300, and now it's down. She goes. It was a good report though, so we'll have to wait and see tomorrow. But it did break above this downtrend line during the session today. So yeah, we'll have to see with volume. I think people were front running this one because of what Robinhood announced last night. So you get in and then gonna have a good report, and it's just maybe sell the news a little bit. Gonna have to watch Coinbase tomorrow. Twilio was a stinker. I really dislike what this company did. They get gapped up here and out of this little shelf pattern when they pre-announced, and now they announce earnings and they miss and they guided down. That's just a crappy thing to do. I'm not, it'll be a long time before I buy anything like Twilio. I'm going to put it on my blacklist. Yeah, you don't do that to people because when you pre-announce, then you get this gap higher, you're supposed to be able to play the game and say, yeah, we pre-announced, but things are better and we're going to guide higher, but they guided down. So, yeah, that's a nasty game they're playing here, and I don't like that at all. Yeah, so that's on my blacklist. All right, DraftKings, you could say, this has a buy point here, if you just standard 45.87 breaking out of this little, consolidation pattern here, Darvish box or whatever you will, but it looks like it's going to trade about $50 tomorrow. And if we look at the weekly chart, you can see that's the 47-week consolidation with a standard buy point there at 49.50. So it's right there. I might add it tomorrow. I don't know. I hate adding things that are extended like that. But when a stock, trades through its pivot point with volume, I mean, if it's extended or not, I think that's a buy, if you choose to take it or not, that's your choice. But to me, that's a buy sign. Anyway, congrats to DraftKings Long. Applied Materials reported tonight. I'm gonna have more data on this tomorrow morning. I didn't read the report, but down nearly 5%. That's not good for the semiconductor equipment names. Palo Alto reported, and it's the same thing with these guys. Good report, it sells off 5%. This is down to 191. Maybe it'll sell off a day or two. This is going to be a buy when it stops going down because that's what Palo Alto does. They report, they go down, they find support, and they go back up. And if you look at it time and time again, it just keeps going higher. It just keeps going higher. It's going to, break out of that base. Yeah. So this is your classic buy the dip stock. Roku, big move for Roku. Woo! All right, breaking out of this base here. The once again going through a buy point 86.75 with volume. That's a buy. So congrats to the Roku long. Steve Wynn reported. Yeah, this is a play on Macau, and you can see China economy's been pretty rotten lately, but coming out of it getting better, and the market's getting better. But they reported tonight up 1 something%. ABNB, I did not check this. I do not like their business model at all, but it looks like it's going to gap up. Yeah, 14% up this 160 area here. Let's take a look at a weekly chart. Once again, I'll have more information in the morning. Thank you for watching at mcstockcharts.com. We never give up. Happy Valentine's Day.